Hello everyone. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about a functional pinout of 8051 microcontroller. So let's begin with pin distribution of 8051 microcontroller. So when we talk about this microcontroller family ICs, 8051 microcontroller is basically a 40 pin IC. Available 40 pins are distributed as, out of 40 pins, 32 pins are set aside as a port, namely port P0, P1, P2 and P3. Each port is again 8-bit wide. Two port pins are dedicatedly used to fulfill the power supply requirement of microcontroller. Two pins are set aside to fulfill the clock requirement of controller. One pin is going to deal with the reset operation. One pin is going to deal with an external access, that is memory related activity, and the last one again is used to deal with an external memory. So in this video lecture we are going to discuss about pins associated with power supply, pins used to fulfill the clock requirement, used for the reset operation, and dealing with some external memory related activities. So this is a detailed pinout diagram of 8051 microcontroller. As said earlier, this 8051 microcontroller is basically a 40 pin IC. These pins are broadly distributed as 32 pins are used as a port pin, that is P0, P1, P2 and P3, and as said, each of this port is 8-bit wide, in the sense when we focus on port P1, which is going to start from pin number 1 and going to end at pin number 8. So it is represented as pin number 1 is a P1.0, P1.1, P1.2 in this way. Means each port pin is basically 8-bit wide. The two pins are used to fulfill a power supply requirement as indicated here. So this VCC, that is pin number 40, and ground, that is pin number 20. Next two pins are set aside to fulfill the clock requirement, that is pin number 18 and pin number 19. And the remaining pins, pin number 29 is used as a PSEN bar, pin number 30 is used as a ALE, and pin number 31 is used as a EA bar / VPP. So in this lecture we are going to have discussion on this pin number 39 and 40, pin number 18, 19, pin number 9, pin number 29, 30 and 31, and whatever these port pins are there, the port pins we are going to discuss into next lecture. So first, VCC, that is pin number 40. This 40 number pin is basically used along with ground pin, that is pin number 20, to fulfill a power supply requirement. To run the internal blocks of this microcontroller faithfully, the plus 5 volt voltage source is used. So what we are going to do, when we are using this microcontroller, in this microcontroller we are going to connect the plus 5 volt supply between pin number 40 and pin number 20 in a such a way that the positive plate of battery is connected to pin number 40 and the negative plate of battery is connected to pin number 20. Like this, that is pin number 40, which is used as a VCC, is connected to positive plate of battery, and pin number 20, which is used as a ground pin, is connected to negative plate of battery. The next, a most important one, is a reset pin. Pin number 9 of microcontroller is used as a reset. It is mainly used to reset the device. It is basically an active high signal, and in order to say simple reset this device, the status of pin number 9 should be high for minimum 2 machine cycles. Depending upon the way in which we are providing a reset, this reset, the two types of resets are given. The first one is called as power on reset and the second one is called as manual reset. So in our this video lecture series, this power on reset and manual reset we are going to discuss in detail later. At this instant we are talking about pin configuration. So pin number 9 is exclusively used in order to reset a device. In a summary, in order to reset the device, we have to send an active high signal on pin number 9 and the status of pin number 9 should be high for minimum 2 machine cycles. Now what will happen when we reset a device? So whatever the internal blocks are present like program counter, data pointer, accumulator, program status word, stack pointer, B register and rest of the ports, that is P0 to P3, their status is shown in this table. So the moment at which we reset this device, program counter and data pointer are get loaded with its initial value, that is 0000, as both these registers are 16-bit wide. Accumulator, PSW and B register, these are the 8-bit register, are loaded with a value as a 00, and the stack pointer, which is going to point out the stack memory, is loaded with a 07. And by default, the moment at which we start or we provide a reset, this port P0 to P3 are going to work as an input, in the sense the status of all these port pins are high. The next one, XTAL1 and XTAL2. The pin number 19 and pin number 18. Here the XTAL1 pin number 19 is used as XTAL1 and pin number 18 is used as a XTAL2, and these two pins are basically used to fulfill the clock requirement of the internal blocks. So basically this 8051 microcontroller have this on-chip oscillator. This on-chip oscillator requires an external clock. So this quartz crystal oscillator is connected between pin number 18 and 19, that means between XTAL2 and XTAL1, in order to fulfill the clock requirement. So the diagram is shown over here. When both these pins we are using and we are going to fulfill the clock requirement with the help of external crystal, this crystal is connected between this XTAL1 and XTAL2, between these two pins, along with this 30 picofarad capacitor. However, if you not want to use this crystal, then directly we can connect an external TTL oscillator to this XTAL1 pin, and XTAL2 pin is left unconnected, like this. Here we are getting a clear difference between the first method and second method. Whenever we are using a crystal in order to fulfill the clock requirement, that we are connecting between pin number 18 and pin number 19, that is in between XTAL1 and XTAL2. Whereas if we are using an external oscillator signal to fulfill the clock requirement, then directly that signal is connected to this XTAL1, that is to pin number 90. And in that case means when we are using external oscillator circuit, in that case this pin number 18, that is XTAL2 pin, is remains unconnected. The next one is EA bar slash VPP, that is pin number 31. Basically this EA bar stands for external access. So in previous lecture we had discussed, when we are dealing with a comparison of different microcontroller families like 8051, 8052 and 8031, we found that in 8031 internal ROM is absent. In such a situation, whatever the program code is there, that program code is stored into external ROM. So to access this code from external memory, the EA bar pin is connected to ground, and that's why EA stands for external access, and as we are dealing with an external memory, this pin is grounded. Whereas when we are going to fetch a code from internal memory, this EA bar pin is connected to VCC. So in this way, in order to access the content from external memory, this EA bar / VPP pin is used, which indicates to CPU whether the code is get accessed from internal memory or from external memory. The moment at which the code is accessed from external memory, the EA bar should be connected to ground, whereas for internal memory, this EA bar is connected to VCC. The next is a PSEN bar, that is pin number 29. The PSEN stands for Program Store Enable. As stated or as discussed, the 8031 based systems uses the external ROM to hold the program code, as the internal memory is or the internal ROM is absent in case of 8031. So in such a situation, to have the access from external memory, this PSEN bar, that is Program Store Enable pin of 8051 microcontroller, is connected to output enable pin of external memory. So in this way, this PSEN bar we are going to connect to the output enable pin, so that whatever the data that we are going to access from this external memory is get enabled. Simple. The next pin is pin number 30, that is ALE. ALE stands for Address Latch Enable. It is an active high signal. It is mainly used for multiplexing of address and data on multiplexed address and data lines. That is nothing but to differentiate the content present on port P0. So when we are talking about the structure of port P0, no doubt the port P0 as a primary operation, it is going to support or it is going to work as a GPIO, that is general purpose input output, and the alternate function that's supported by port P0 is it works as multiplexed address and data bus. In the sense, it is going to carry the 8-bit data from controller to memory or from memory to controller, as well as it is going to hold the address of memory location in a such a way that if the address is 16-bit, then the lower 8 bits are held by this port P0. So in order to provide a differentiation in the sense whether port P0 is going to work as a data line, means going to carry a data, or going to work as an address line or address bus, that means it is going to carry an address, this ALE pin is used. So when the status of this ALE pin is 0, port P0 is going to work as data bus, and whatever content that present on port P0, these content are treated as a data. Whereas if we make ALE equal to 1, the contents present on port P0 are treated as a address, means port P0 is going to work as a address bus. So in this way, this ALE pin is used. So to understand again in detail the use of this ALE pin, let us consider. We have interfaced here this memory with this 8051 microcontroller. So no doubt this memory is having the different slots, and this is generally say a block diagram or the interfacing diagram of this memory. So let us find how exactly this ALE pin is going to work. So simple, when I am going to talk about a interfaced memory, suppose this capacity of memory is 64 by 8, that is 64 KB by 8. So at basic level, simple, consider this memory consists of these different slots. Each of this slot is having capacity to store a 8-bit data, and each slot is represented with this address. So when we are talking about a memory, the address of each slot is basically a 16-bit, whereas each slot is capable to hold this 8-bit data. So as it is a 64 KB, so its starting address is 0000 and its end address is FFFFH. Now consider one simple location. Suppose we are going to focus on this specific location, say 8468, and at this location, this 95, this data is stored. And as we know, when we are talking about 8465, its binary equivalent values are like this. So when we are talking about port P0, then the port P0 is going to hold as an address these lower 8 bits, in the sense this P0.0 is 1, then P0.1 is 0, in this way, means this digit or this is value held by P0.0, the next is held by P0.1, in this way. So this value 65 is now represented by simple this port P0. And when it is possible, means when this 65, so at this instant the 65 is nothing but what? It is simple the address of memory location. And later on the same port is capable to carry this value. That means the port 0 P0 can carry this value, that is 95. So here the 95 is a data which is stored at memory location 8465. See this. So whatever these higher 8 bits are there, that is A7 to A15, these are held by port P2. So later on we are going to discuss about this. So now again focus here. So one thing is clear, at one instant the port P0 is going to carry value 65, which is simple and address, and in second case this P0 is going to carry the value 95, which is nothing but what? Data. So whatever this differentiation is there, this differentiation is basically done by port differentiation, that is demultiplexing is done by ALE. So the moment at which the ALE status, that is the status of pin ALE is equal to 0, the content present on port P0, suppose right now the P0 going to carry this value 95, this is simple treated as a data. And when this ALE pin is equal to 1, the P0 no doubt going to carry the value 65, and now this is treated as a address. So in this way this ALE pin is mainly used to demultiplex the port P0, means to differentiate whether the content present on port P0 is address or data.